All right, so the first thing I look at before automating any business, like what's the first thing or the first factor I look at whenever I'm supposed to automate a business or automate any process inside a business? Like, what do I do to actually determine, or what is the thing I look at to actually determine if this thing is even profitable? Right, in the first place. So yeah, this is all this video is going to be about, and I assume this video is going to be pretty short, like not more than 10 minutes. So let's get to the first factor, which is their never mind. What process happens in this business again and again, and is it actually clear? So, yeah, this is just the core single most important thing that I would say that matters whenever you want to automate any business or any process. So, what process happens in this business again and again, and is it actually clear? Now, if you pay attention, there's actually two questions inside this major thing. That first of all, what process happens again and again, and second, is that process actually clear? Okay. Now, these two questions, I've just separated them just to, elaborate them a bit and make you understand it more effortlessly, more easily. So, getting to the first one, which is what process happens again and again, which is basically repetitive work. Like, what is repetitive here? Because automation only works when something is repeated. So, what I'm trying to say is, what's the core objective of automating any process? It's to save the time that this process costs our team members or basically humans, and something that's just happening again and again very in a very similar way, then we can just simply automate it because we don't require any external effort such as creativity, experience, or skill set to perform that task again and again. It's just in a way automatic. Okay, even when humans do it, but to just save that time that humans have to spend doing that task or process, we just automate stuff. Now, simple examples include like sending follow-ups, updating CRM after calls, creating reports, lead qualification, proposal drafts, or any such process or any such task that you can think of, which is done very frequently and does require, human time and does require a decent amount of time, but doesn't require any experience or any skill set whenever they're done, right? It's pretty repetitive and it's pretty similar whenever it's done. Then you might consider that task or that process to be automatable. Now, bonus fact here is check these factors too, which are frequency, time, and impact. So first, what is frequency? Frequency is just, the frequency with which this task is being done. So how many times is this task being done in a week, in a month? So you can just take a, rough estimate of how much is this task actually getting repeated, and do you even have to, is it going to be any profitable for you even to automate this thing? So let's say there's a process that's just happening like 3 to 4 times a month, then there is simply no point in automating this process because it doesn't require so much amount of time unless it actually does require a lot of time whenever it's done, unless the task or process is like highly time consuming. Okay, which brings us to my second point, which is time. So how much time does this process or this operation or this task actually take whenever it's done, right? And then it's the impact, which is what ROI or what results it actually drives you once this task or process is completed. So based on this law, that if this process is happening again and again, or is it simply repetitive, you can just determine if this task is automatable. And using these bonus factors such as frequency, time, and impact, you can calculate or you can determine if automating this task or automating this process is actually profitable. So yeah, this was our first question or first part of this thing that you should ask yourself whenever automating anything. Now the second one, which is the process actually clear? What do I mean by clear? So inconsistent or messy processes aren't automatable. The exact opposite of inconsistent or messy processes is a clear process. Now, in simple words, if humans don't follow a clear sequence, that is a messy process. Like whenever this task or this process is being done, if a regular sequence isn't being followed every single time it is being done, then this task is simply not automatable, or it is simply just unclear or messy and just not ready to be handled by AI. So a clear process looks something like, let's say the lead comes in, you qualify the lead, you send a follow-up, you book the meeting, and you update your CRM with the lead's details. Now, an unclear process looks something like lead comes in, Sometimes the sales team checks it. Sometimes the marketing team checks it. Sometimes the lead gets replied in 10 minutes. Sometimes it just takes 2 days, and sometimes it's just logged into the CRM based on some specific situations or some factors. Sometimes it's just not. So this it's just really clear here that which is what is the difference between a clear process and an unclear process, which just does help you a lot to again just determine if a process is even automatable. So, basically, according to this whole thing, what I would recommend you as the correct sequence of checking the factors, if any process or any business is even automatable, is first just check if there's any process happening again and again and again, if there's any repetitive work. Now, once you actually determine these processes which just happen again and again, now you have to come to this second factor, which is the process actually clear? So once you determine any process is automatable, then you have to determine if the process is actually clear. It isn't supposed to be messy. It isn't supposed to be inconsistent. It actually is supposed to be clear. Only then will automating this process will be easier for you and actually highly effective for the other business. Now, once you check that this process is actually clear, then you come to this third factor, which is these bonus points of frequency, time, and impact to calculate how much profitable this automation is going to be. How much time is it going to save? How much efforts is it going to save, right? And how much additional impact is it going to create just by itself without any human hours being put into the work, right? This is basically the whole concept, and this is what I just wanted to convey you through the video. That whenever, when I was a beginner, when I was a beginner, even I just had to face a lot of confusion around the fact that what to automate, what to not. How does one create a profitable automation? How to determine if this automation is actually, high ROI or very impact driven, or even if somebody would buy it, right? So as a beginner, I just had a lot of those questions, and I hope this video or this concept just solves few of those questions for you as well. If you're a beginner or even if you're an intermediate and you had any sort of confusion regarding this process in your mind regarding this concept. So yeah, that was the whole video. I really hope I was articulate throughout the video and I did convey my points really well and you understood what I was trying to say through this video. Now, if you're a business owner who's looking forward to implement these kind of AI solutions or these AI automations into your business, again, just automating this repetitive work, the processes which are clear and which do require you a lot of time are done really frequently and are really impactful and high ROI, but you, on the other hand, do want to save your team members a lot of time and effort, then you can just reach out to me through the link given in this video's description. It's just a call booking link. We can just, not a typical sales call, right? When I'm trying to where I'm just trying to push you something or push you to work with me, just a regular conversation where we can just discuss and discover ideas, where we can automate your business, and where I can just apply this law of what process happens in your business again and again, and which processes are actually automatable, which processes are going to be profitable when automated. Then we can just have a conversation upon it, and according to that, if you find any scope, then we can work together as well. So yeah, that was the whole video. I really hope you liked it. I'll just see you in the next one, and that's it. Okay, bye bye.